Hi guys, welcome to JOEGAJOY Fitness with me, Jo, and to today's Power Hatha class. So we're going to be powering through some really strong postures and moving through in a quite fluid and flowing way. I do hope you enjoy it, and if you do, please like, share and subscribe, and then hit that bell, let me know you've been watching. And if you've got any comments, get in touch. All the ways to do that in the information boxes below. If you're ready, we are going to begin. We will begin as we always do with our yoga in a shavasana. So calm down, relax, release, let go. Remember, if you do suffer with any back pain, bend the knees, bring the feet onto the floor. And just breathe and release. So just feel your body against the floor, remembering that you can bend the knees if your back is feeling a little sore or a little challenged. Otherwise, just resting in full shavasana. Come to your breath and just take a few nice, long, slow, deep breaths. So breathing in and breathing out and breathing in. And breathing out, and breathing in, and out. Really nice. And just see if you've created any space in the body, and then just let yourself surrender to that space. And just slide the heels in towards the bottom. Well, hello. I'm teaching. Go, go, go. Go. Thank you. That's beautiful. Go sit down. And just rock your knees. Thank you, darling. Thank you. Rock your knees from side to side. Sorry. Lift the door open for some fresh air and some dogs. Rocking the knees from side to side. He likes to just make sure we're all okay. And then just roll yourself over onto one side, draw your knees in and draw your head down. And just again, just taking long, slow, deep breaths. And then bringing yourself up to sitting. Coming up and just allow yourself to sit nice and tall. Let's just take a couple of lateral flexions, just easing out through the back. Oh, just windmill those arms. Lovely. And then just take some rotation. And back the other way. And then come over onto all fours. So roll yourself over. Come onto all fours. Take a gentle cat and cow through your spine. Oh, that's so good. And then just taking a sit back into child's pose. So just relax yourself down. Breath in, breath out here. Reach those arms forwards. And then bring yourself up. Let's take downward face dog. Seeing as we've had a visit from Roscoe, we'll use that as inspiration. So just pedaling out the heels, and then walk the feet in towards the hands, coming into your forward fold, just holding and hanging down here, head down, and lifting up. Gather, and pull down. Nice, we're going to take some salutations. So coming up to the top of your mat, I'm going to work facing towards you, and I'll be working on your right and your left as much as I possibly can. So just taking a moment, just feeling the ground through your feet. So just rocking yourself forwards and backwards. And just allow yourself to find that area where you feel like you're centralized and pausing there. And then pulling up and on through the core, through the legs, shoulders over the hips. Chin parallel to the floor, crown of the head to the sky. Maybe just close your eyes for a moment. Just notice how you feel in this presence. And then reach the arms up and pull down. And just hang out here, take a little pedal between the legs. And then roll up through your spine. Gather and pull down. Let's just take a little sit into chair pose, Utkatasana. And then folding forwards and down, back into that Uttanasana. Take a halfway lift, please, somewhere in the middle. Straight through the spine, straight through the legs. And then releasing off. Take a step back with your right leg. So your right leg going back, nice long. I'm just gonna put everything on the diagonal here, just so that you've got a bit of a better view. Hopefully. So stepping back on your right, heart reaching forwards, and then dropping that back knee down. And I just want you to take a little stretch and release as you're in this position, if this feels good. And then just pausing here in the backstroke and lengthen out that left leg, your left leg. And you can just take a breath in, and as you exhale, drop your head down towards the knee, feeling that stretch, and really push back through that left hip and pull forwards through that right hip, because there'll be a tendency when this leg is forwards to kind of want to twist in that opposite direction. So really centralize the pelvis, pull back through the left, push forwards through the right, and drop down. You'll feel a really nice, intense stretch there. And then just rocking forwards. If your knees allow, you can lean up onto that thigh, looking for openness in the groin. Now you're looking again to pull back through that left hip, push forward through that right hip. They'll still want to twist in the way of the leg forward. So just combative, working against what feels kind of natural. And then stepping back onto all fours, take that little cat and cow through the spine. Maybe even a little wag of the tail, and just feeling your way through anything. I like to kind of crease and crack out my wrists. I get real graunchy wrists, so just seeing how they feel, the spine, the hips, wherever's right for you, the knees. And then take a sink backwards, drop yourself down, melt into the ground. You can even bring the hands under the head, just relax yourself in. Child's pose. And then just from here, we're just going to twist a little underneath. So not coming up into full Parsvabalasana, just taking a twist in child, stay back. And then to the other side, doesn't matter which side you do, first and second. And then slide your way out onto your tummy. Find yourself a nice gentle back bend. Allow yourself to lift your heart and just looking. So if you touch your fingertips onto your clavicle and then lay your hands down, it's roughly where you want them to be. Of course, some people prefer to have them much wider or pulled back, but just looking for a general check. And then lift your heart, stretch and open. Inhale as you exhale, let's relax down. Push ourselves back onto all fours. And just tucking the toes under, I just want you to sit back into the heels. So you're just stretching out the feet a little bit. So try and get all 5 toes tucked under. And really stretch out those feet. And then lift your bottom and come into downward face dog again, please. And just again, a little gentle pedal, stretch out the feet, stretch out the legs. And then we're going to pause here. We're going to lift our right leg, so your right leg into the air, and you're going to step up the top of your mat. And you're going to step in with the left. And then roll up through your spine, coming up nice and slowly, lifting and gather. Beautiful. Nice job, guys. So if you've wandered off from the top of your mat, if you've got costume issues, sort all of that out and then find your stillness again. Maybe just a couple of rocks through the feet. Maybe you want to come into Samastitihi, just whatever feels right for you. And then lift up and sit down into chair. And fold forwards over the legs. Take a halfway lift. And release. Step back on your left this time, please. Open your heart. Lower that knee down with care. Release the toes and just start to move forwards and backwards. And then taking it back, and this time your right hip pushing that back, bringing that left one forwards. It's really lovely, strong stretch down the back of that extended leg when you neutralize the pelvis in that way. If it's too strong for you, of course, back it off. And then reaching it forwards, leaning up on that thigh. Again, if your knees don't like it, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do any of it. Taking a resting Shavasana is just as beneficial. Lovely. Bring the hands down. Step back onto all fours. Gentle cat and cow through the spine. And then one more, rolling up into cat arch, our angry cat. And sit back. Well done. Take those little rotations, so taking one arm through, looking underneath the armpit. And changing sides. Come back to centre, please. Slide your way out along the mat. Find your back bend of choice. Maybe you're looking for something a bit stronger. Maybe you're looking for something a little more relaxed. It's really personal choice. Really entirely up to you. This is your practice. I'm just here to guide you through some shapes. Let that heart release now. Coming back onto all fours. Taking a downward facing dog. Pedaling out the heels maybe just for a few walks. And then pause. Lifting up through your left leg and stepping up to the top of your mat. And then bringing in your right leg, coming into your forward fold and holding here, hanging out and rolling up to standing. Gather and pull down. Nice work. We're going to add in some extra postures. So I just want to run through them from a visual point of view for us to do them so you'll feel comfortable in what you're doing, and then when we include them as part of the salutation, nothing should feel new to you. So we're going to step back on our right leg and the feet are facing forwards, heel on the back foot. Maybe I stepped a little too wide there and wobbling. The heel on the back foot is down, the heel on the front foot is down, the knee on the front leg is bent, the knee on the back leg is straight, hands into heart. And just open. Bring the shoulder blades together and breathe. And then what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to pull up into a little balance. So we're not going into like warrior three, we're just going to take a little balance here and then step out into warrior two. So we're not dropping down into warrior three, we're just going to take a little standing balance. And then flipping that front palm, let's reach back. Taking our Surya Virabhadrasana. And then coming back into warrior two, turning that palm again. This time lean the elbow on that front thigh. Really use that front thigh for assistance. Windmill this top arm over. It's as if you're kind of bouncing a ball or patting somebody on the head. So palm is down. And then spiral your right shoulder up over your left one. And then extending this left arm down towards the floor. Just see if you can take that Parsvakonasana into a little bit more of an intense side stretch. Spin the arm down, coming into high lunge. Step back up into forward fold. Roll up through your spine. And gather. And we'll just try that on side two. So I'm going to do that on the left leg, just taking it a different perspective for you. So just taking the hands into heart, step back on your left leg, bend your right knee, so one straight, one bend. And again, think about those hips. So they want to kind of twist, one leg's forward, one leg's back, they want to twist with it. But we're going to counter that. We're going to look at pulling back through the right hip and pushing forward through the left hip. And then pulling up, so you see how my back foot becomes very light. I'm going to pull my hips up. So here my hips are sitting back of my knee, and I'm going to pull my hips up in line with my knee, and that's going to float my back leg up. And then I'm going to take a nice big stand out into warrior two. Lovely. So nice bent front knee, straight back leg, open through the groin. And this time the pelvis is open, the chest and the hips are facing towards the long edge of my mat. Flip that front palm and reach back. And then come back into two. Flip that front palm and lean into that front thigh. Taking this top arm over the top, reaching through. So it's a supported Parsvakonasana. And then just see if you can reach that right arm down towards the right foot. There's no obligation to, you can stay leaning on that thigh. You might adjust your feet. And then pivot around into your high lunge and step forwards. Draw up through the spine, gathering and pulling down. Wonderful work. So we're going to include that in our salutation now. So just coming up to the top of your mat, adjusting, finding your comfort. Take a breath in, bring hands into heart. Just take a moment to find your stillness. And then extend the hands to the sky. Take a gentle back bend here. Flying out over those legs. Take a halfway lift and release. Step back with your right leg, please. Big high lunge. Roll your heart forwards. And then gently lowering that back knee. Release the toes and pull your hips back. You might want to still do a couple of preparatory mobilizers here, or you can just drop straight back into it. Drop the head down towards the knee. Pull back through that left hip, push forward through that right hip. And then rolling forwards, patting out the knee if you need to, lifting up onto that thigh if that feels good. And then dropping the hands down and stepping back onto all fours. Take a little cat and cow, just a couple. Beautiful. And then sit your hips back and come into child. Take that little rotation, threading through. And release, change sides. And release. Slide your body out along your mat, coming into gentle back bend. Or maybe you're feeling like you want a bit of a deeper back bend now. Certainly, you know, if you're warmed up and your spine feels nice and mobile, you could go for that. And then pushing back into downward facing dog, please. So bring the hands beside the chest, pushing up. You can come from the knees and lift up. Take a little pedal in position. And then I do encourage you to draw your toes so they're touching at the back of your mat, but you're going to have to probably move that left leg again in a moment. Reach that right leg up towards the sky and step it up between your hands. High lunge to begin with. Step the back foot in and out. Reach up into that warrior one. Drop the shoulders down, lengthen through the neck. You can look towards the hands. And then pull the hands into the heart like we did in the tasters. Now bring that weight forwards into that front leg. Take a balance. And then step long and wide, reaching out into warrior two. Flip the front palm and reverse. Come back through warrior two. Flip the front palm and lean. Bring this arm over the top. And as you bring this arm over the top, try not to turn. Keep open to the side. Breath in, and as you breathe out, extend that hand down towards the floor. Keep this top arm over the top. Pivot and spin around and step forwards. Roll up through your spine, gather. Sit down into your Utkatasana. Everyone loves chair pose, so let's stay here for a few breaths. And then rolling down. Little cycle of the legs, pedal of the legs. And come up all the way. Draw those vibrations into your heart. Close your eyes, find your stillness. Find your breath. Beautiful. Inhale, exhale, take that up, take the back bend. And flow out over those legs. Take a halfway lift here. And release. And you're going to step back on your left leg this time. Your left leg. Roll your heart forwards. Gently drop that knee down. Release the toes. And again, you can do those little preparatory forwards and backwards, or you can just go straight into the stretch here. Really thinking about pulling that right hip back as you push that left hip forwards, neutralizing pelvis and really getting that stretch to speak to us in the hammies of the front leg. Exhale, rolling forwards, cumber up onto that thigh if you can, if that feels okay. And just take a little groin stretch here. Beautiful work. Take the hands down, step back onto all fours, cat and cow through the spine. Lifting and lowering, and then ripple and roll back into pose of a child. And just relax down here. Taking that spinal twist, take one arm underneath and look under that armpit. And then switch and change. Beautiful. Lovely. Stretching, wringing out. Reach the hands forwards. Draw your body along your mat, taking a lift of the heart. Breathe in. And as you exhale, find your downward facing dog again, please. Little pedal of the heels. Walk the feet in towards each other. Pause and lengthen. And then lift that left leg into the sky. And step it up between your hands. Beautiful. Step the back foot in and lift and rise into your warrior one. Pull heart, hands into heart, also shoulders down. Transfer that weight forwards, just coming into a little balance here. before stepping out into your warrior two. Gone a little wide there. Woo. Flip the front palm and reach backwards. Revisit warrior two. Flip the palm and lean forwards. Extend that left hand down towards the floor, keeping that body open to the side. And then spiral and pivot. Stepping forwards. Rolling up. Draw your hands into your heart, sit your ass down. Heart shining forwards. Flowing over those legs. And rolling up. Beautiful. Just take a moment here, just to pause, close the eyes, and observe. Just let the hands go. I'd like you to step wide on your mat. So I'm just going to take this position and just check what's going on with your toes. So when we step wide, there can be a tendency to kind of outwardly rotate. So I would like you to bring your feet so they're in line. So the toes and the heels are kind of in line with the short edges if you're along your mat the way that I am. And then just look at the distance between the feet. So ideally, if you were to unscrew your leg and lay it down, the foot would stay where it was and this part would touch into the other foot. So it's your leg length. As a general rule of thumb, we say 3.5 to 4 feet, because I guess that's kind of about one leg length for most people. But yeah, just looking at what feels good for you. I will just say that as of yet, touch wood, I've never had anybody have a leg fall off in class, so you'd probably be okay. Just maybe heel toe a little wider, be a bit brave. And listen to what your body's saying. So if it feels like, oh, that's enough, then pause there, breathe, and then take the arms out to the sides, reaching the palms away, and gently soften the knees, draw on through the abs, start to fold forwards, keep the arms extending, and then bring the hands down onto the feet and drop your head towards the floor. And just see how this feels for you. And you might feel like this feels really comfortable, or you might feel that it feels really uncomfortable. You can always bring your hands into the center of the mat if you really need some support. If you've got a block there and you want to, you can always put your head on the block. If you can go a little wider, you can always bring your head down towards the floor or even onto the floor. Just see what feels good for you. And then taking a breath, what I'd like you to do is bring your left hand over towards your right. Notice I've not bent my knees, I've not changed my legs at all. I've just simply brought my left to my right. And I'm just stretching, and I feel it's much stronger now in that right side. And I'm going to pivot round towards that right leg. So coming into high lunge. And then I'm going to step back into plank. I'm going to lower down onto my knees and sit back into child. Rock my head from side to side. Oh. Slide out. Coming into my Sphinx. And on and out breath, rising once more into downward facing dog. I'm going to lift up through my right leg and step it up between my hands. And I'm going to walk myself back around, changing my feet into that central position. Soften the knees, expand the arms, and rise up. Good. Step the legs together, bring the hands into heart. Just give it a little shimmy and shake. And we'll just try all of that on the left side. So take a big step. See how it feels. It might depend on the grip of your mat as well. So if your feet are sliding, that can feel a little disconcerting because you feel like you're going to keep going. Arms out, palms forward. Check your feet. Take a softness in the knees and push your bum back, pivoting from the hip joints. Folding forwards and down, take the hands onto the feet, drop the head between. And just let this go. So if you feel like you've got a little bit of extra space, you can just walk those feet out a little bit more. And then sweep that right arm round to the left. And then let's pivot round to the left, into high lunge. Step back into down dog. Ripple and roll forwards into plank. Lower down and sit back into child. Slide out along the mat. And then lift and rise into your downward facing dog again, please. Lift your left leg to the sky and step it between the hands. Walk your way around to the center, bringing your feet with you as you go. Soften the knees, spread your wings and rise. Stepping back to the top of your mat. Really well done. Come on down to sitting. Let's just take a few postures in seat. So we're going to start off by bending the knees and bringing the feet together. I'm holding on to the ankles. I'm not a real fan of holding the feet. It pulls the ligaments in a way that they're not designed. So we very rarely advocating holding the joints, but this is one of those times when we do. So hold on here, take a breath in, lengthen your spine, sit up, smile. And as you exhale, come over those legs, maybe pressing the elbows into the knees. Feel that the groin is getting a nice release here. And then just lengthening up. Turn your feet down to the floor and just lift your bottom, coming into reverse tabletop, or you can extend the legs away and again lifting up, coming into reverse plank. And release, well done. Sitting up nice and tall. Let's just take the legs, as we did when we were standing, into that wide-legged position. We're just going to sit tall here. So it's always a good idea, if you feel comfortable, pulling out the sit bone. So you get a little posterior tilt on the pelvis here, enables you to move forwards into that little stretch there. And then if you can, maybe lean down into the hands. Try not to draw the shoulders up around the ears, just drop those down. Long spine, long neck means you've always got breath coming in. We don't want to be impeding on the breath. And then just like we did when we were standing, let's turn towards our right leg. So your right leg, rotating the body so my chest is going towards the leg. And then let's just take the same arm as leg. So I'm going to do it, taking, if you're with me, your right arm. Let's just spiral that shoulder. So stacking like we did in Parsvok, stacking that left shoulder over the right, opening and twisting and coming into that beautiful open heart position here. And then lifting up. Well done. Bring the hands down behind you, feet back in, little rock from side to side, so a windscreen wiper to begin with. And then lifting up through the bottom. And again, you can go into that full reverse plank if you so desire. Coming up, take those legs wide. Again, readjust because we've moved. So get the sit bones out, those ischium on the floor, leaning forwards into the hands. Breathe and release. And then let's wander around towards that left leg of yours. the heart towards the limb, towards the leg. And then left hand to that left limb and reach that right one up and rotate the heart, spiral the heart to the sky, lifting up. Bring yourself up through center, lean down into those hands. Just give those legs a little rock in the sockets, just see how it feels. Maybe you can go a little bit deeper here now, because we've kind of worked on opening and releasing into those joints. And then walk yourself back up. Reintroduce your legs to each other, give them a little rock in the sockets. And we're going to come down to lying. We're going to do a couple of lying postures. So semi-supine, we're going to come down, bend our knees. And let's draw our right leg in, so true leg now this time. So your right leg, my right leg, and just roll that ankle. And then pop that ankle on the opposite thigh. And I just want you to move this knee. Do you see how it's kind of like flapping it or waving it like you would a flag. And it just works into that hip joint a little bit. And then just pushing it out. You can even pop a hand on there and just work on outward rotation. And then just pause. Just feel this. Feel how it feels for you. And then if you feel like you've got a little bit more to give, you can lift that left leg off the floor. That immediately gives it extra. Or you can thread the hands through. Or if you can't thread the hands through but you want that, you can use a strap. If you don't have a strap, use a hand towel or something that doesn't stretch ideally. You want all the stretching to be happening in your body. So if you're using sort of resistance bands, they tend to take the stretch rather than the body. So look for something a little bit less yielding. And then let's bring that foot to the floor. Slide that leg away. Keep this right foot up on top. Let that hip open. I haven't dropped my foot down to the side, but if it feels too strong on your hip, you can certainly come into felled tree and do that. Otherwise, keep that foot up there and let that hip open and just take the arms out to the side. So if you're into your semantics, palms up tends to be relaxed, shoulder blades, palms down, more active. So that's entirely up to you. And then let's just bring those feet back onto the floor, turn the palms down if they're not, and just rock the knees out from side to side, rocking into those hips, into that lower back, just feeling your way through. Really nice. Pause in the centre. Let's draw in that left leg, roll the ankle please. And make sure you've rolled it both ways. And then popping it on the opposite thigh, just work on those little waves of the knee. Kind of inwardly rotating and outwardly rotating the hip using musculature. And then pushing it away, you can place the hand on there and turn that knee away. And then bring that leg towards you. Placing that right foot on the floor, slide the leg away. Again, there is the choice here to change the position of the left leg, so you can take it down to the side or you can leave it on the top. Taking the arms out to the side. Semantics again, palm up, palm down. What do you feel? feet to the ground, gently rocking from side to side. Let's take Markanasana now. So drop your knees over to one side, tuck the head to the other. There will be a tendency for some of you to zip those feet together. I do encourage you to keep them nice and widely apart. And just drop them over. When you're ready, bring that underneath foot up onto that top thigh, which again, if you've brought your feet together, you're going to need to separate them out to do that. And just coming into that little twist. So if you were to stand this up, this is very much like the posture we've just been in, but relax to one side. And then let that go. Just windmill out the hips just slightly. And then just drop the legs over to your second side. Again, keep those feet away from each other. Turn the head in the opposite direction. And then you can bring that foot up onto the thigh if that feels good for you. Release the arm, little windscreen wiper of the legs. And then let's come into Shavasana just for a moment. We'll do some pranayama after we've taken our resting Shavasana here. Palms up, relax the shoulder blades, relax the neck. Just wiggle the jaw and the mouth and just set the tongue to the back teeth. Tuck the chin in, close the eyes. Let the legs fall. If you struggle with your back, then bend your knees and place your knees to rest upon each other. I find quite often I need that at the beginning, but then once I've done my practice and I feel a little bit more limber, I'm more able to access Shavasana. So just see how it feels. And then just let's breathe naturally here. Start to just wriggle and wiggle your fingers and toes. Scrunch your hands, bend your knees, bend your elbows, just rock it out. Turn onto one side, just pause in embryo. And then bring yourself up to your sitting position. Sit in a position you feel comfortable. Just place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Close your eyes back down again once you're up and settled. Try and bring the breath in until the bottom hand really moves. Pause and hold, observe the breath, and then exit the breath. Really pushing that breath all the way out, really trying to get all that stale air out the base of the lungs, pushing that bottom hand in, really exhaling, exhaling, exhaling. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And once more breathing in and out. Just let the hands rest upon the knees. Just observing the body. Take a breath in and grab the vibrations from all around you. Draw them down all the way into your heart, bowing the head in grateful acceptance. Om Namah Shivaya. Namaste. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye.